Hey everyone, welcome back to Pinfield 2 Gaming. Today we have a game called The Forgotten City, and I actually picked this one up. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Total War Rome, I guess, kind of in the first person though. It is a story game, and I thought I would do a video on that and just kind of see how it is. I usually always show the settings. I do get some comments sometimes to show the different settings that are within the game. So we do have some language options here, subtitles, pretty standard stuff as far as the music and controls, and then it looks like we can actually change the controller for what we want. So if you have a different play style or you're used to a different control scheme, looks like you can actually change that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do new game. So I'm gonna, it says, please give your audience a spoiler warning. So I guess spoiler warning, if you would like to play the game yourself, there's going to be some spoilers apparently.
Hey, you're alive. When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, a phone, maybe. I hope you don't mind. But all I found was some loose change. So, wanna tell me who you are?
That is kind of interesting. So I guess we may actually be a part of, or playing in the modern times, and then we'll actually go back to the Roman times, I guess, eventually. So we can play, looks like you can select your body type here. I'll go ahead and go with that. You can select a couple different skin tones, it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and pick my name here.
Well, it's nice to meet you. And I'm sorry to pry, but any idea why you were floating down the river? What's the last thing you remember?
I don't know why. This reminds me, for those of you who watched Aqua Teen Hunger Force, there was an episode where Shake actually loses his PDA, which actually isn't even his, and he goes and tells these outlandish stories. He's like, I was tracking alien footprints in the Adirondacks. That's kind of reminded me of that. I was searching for ancient ruins. I'm going to pick that one.
You're an archaeologist? Then you'll definitely want to hear this. I don't know if it's exactly what you're looking for, but there are some ruins just behind you. Roman, I think. I need you to go in there and see if you can find a guy named Al for me. He went in there a few hours ago, and he hasn't come out. I've been freaking out, wondering if he's trapped or injured or worse. I would have gone in after him, but he made me promise to stay here, no matter what. There's no way I'm leaving without him. So I'm just kind of stuck here, waiting. What I mean is, I was hoping you wouldn't mind going in there to find him. If you can do that, I can get both of you back to civilization in my boat. Please? Oh, of course. Sorry, I don't mean to be pushy. What do you want to know?
So it looks like we have quite a few options here. I'm going to see if you have to exhaust every single bit of dialogue. It looks like this is kind of one of those games where your choices actually affect things later on. So what questions we did ask, what path we take, there might be multiple endings. So I'm just going to say, what's your story?
Oh, there's not much to tell. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute. Know what I mean? Oh, I'd rather not say if it's all the same to you. All right, fine. Sorry if I sounded cagey, it's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
That's kind of funny. I think the developers had a little bit of a sense of humor when they wrote this. That's kind of funny. And they even put in there all those Karen memes are really ruined the name. I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, something like that. But right now, I have bigger problems, like finding Al.
So I could actually stop it right here. I'm gonna ask who Al is really quick, and then I'll go ahead and.
He's the guy who washed up on the riverbank not long before you did.
Okay.
I thought maybe you two knew each other. I guess not. But maybe the two of you can piece together what you're doing here. In any case, you'll like him, I'm sure. Once you find him, that is.
So Al washed up on shore with me. I guess I'm gonna find out what the heck is going on.
So you're ready to go look for Al? Thank you. The entrance is just past those columns behind you. Please, hurry. Oh, and he left this here. But I think you'll need it more than I will.
A heavy-duty flashlight. All right. So we found out her name is Karen, and looks like we need to figure out, and it kind of does tell you where to go for your missions. Now, we did have the option of I'll pass, and it looks like you may have actually not needed to actually go look for Al. We got our handy dandy flashlight. They did say in the beginning of this game, this is really not a combat game. This is probably more, for those of you that played the Telltale series, this is probably more of a guided story, but you actually get a little more freedom of movement. So kind of that first-person player type of feel, but just more of a story game. So here we have a backpack. We can't pick it up or anything, but they said it is strange that Al would leave that behind. Looks like there's a note.
If you're reading this, it means I've discovered the entrance to an ancient Roman city hidden deep underground. Its existence is long forgotten, all knowledge of it lost, except in the Latin inscription here. It reads, "You who wish to enter the city, step forth and be judged. The virtuous shall be rewarded with eternal life in paradise. The wicked shall find themselves showered in gold, but in vain, for this shall be their final resting place." Couldn't.
Okay, so you actually kind of get transported into this underground city, kind of like, I don't know, almost like an Atlantis type of feel.
Could an underground city have remained a secret for all this time?
Huh.
Could people have survived down there, against the odds? It seems there's only one way to find out. If I'm not back in an hour, I'm somewhere on the other side. Consider this an invitation, or a warning. Al Worth.
This is kind of neat. I'm not gonna lie. So he mentions that people have survived down here all this time, basically away from modern society, so to speak. So that's kind of cool. A little bit creepy that I heard some whispers saying, "Who are you?" Ooh, golden statue. They say he's actually fleeing, and what could have made him done that mid-strike. And then really, really quickly, I was going to see if I can actually inspect a couple more of these. So there's a couple of statues that we can see. I don't know if these... Nope. Okay. So it's like some people have been turned to gold almost, I guess. Okay. I thought I had to like open the door, but you just like actually just walk right through them. All right, some more statue. It looks like the statues up here don't really have much to, I guess, you can't really inspect them, although there is one missing up here. I thought that was kind of weird, but I bet you I can inspect this. Oh, I didn't know you can knock those over. Okay. And yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't know why some of them are like on the ground and some of them aren't. I did not mean to knock that lady down. That one can't inspect either, but he kind of looks pretty terrified too, actually. Oh, I don't want to. Try not to knock these statues over. So again, somebody whispered, like, why are you here? I want to say so bad, I'm here for Al. Oh, that might, okay. Wow, that's might be Al, 'cause he's wearing modern clothing. So I'm guessing everybody else might be...
To whoever reads this, I'm sorry you had to find me like this. And worse, that you'll suffer the same fate I did. I've spent a lifetime in this place, going around and around in circles, searching for a way out. The inscription was right. There is no way back. In here, there are only two options. Death, or that godforsaken doorway into the past. I made the mistake of stepping through it. I wanted to set things right. And I tried. I really tried. Whatever I did, it took me right back to the beginning. Don't make the same mistake. Better to end it all now. And find out what awaits you beyond that portal.
So I don't know why everybody seems to be a statue. Obviously, it's a mystery right now. So Al didn't make it. He said this doorway over here. I'm guessing he made it seem like it just transports you back to the beginning. More whispering. Kind of creepy. Okay, so this is the doorway. I'm gonna check out down here. Pretty decent graphics for a game that probably will be overlooked by most people. It didn't get a really, not a lot of marketing, it seems like, or anything like that. So now we're going through a wormhole, apparently. And I can enter photo mode. I bet you I'm back in the beginning. Okay, so I did get a trophy here, so go into photo mode. I don't know why. They had this in, like, Assassin's Creed. I don't know why I would ever really want that, but... Okay, so this is a little different. Okay, so it looks like when we originally came in here, these were all in ruins, actually, and now we're actually seeing live people. So remember this, I believe, was the guy that was begging the gods for mercy. So that's really interesting.
Salve, friend. I'm Galerius. Mind telling me who you are and what you were doing in the Shrine of Proserpina?
I'm going to check all these options out. So I could lie, although technically I did get lost. I'm not really sure how that's a lie. I could tell him I'm from the future. I'm going to kind of ask about these two things.
What? I'm speaking Latin. You are too, although your accent's a little strange. Oh, I see what you did there. Changing the subject like that. Nice try. But I'll ask again. Who are you, and what were you doing in the shrine?
I was going to ask about the shrine here.
Yeah, you know, agricultural goddess of springtime? You're not from around here, are you? And you've just done it again. You're a sly one, aren't you? One more time. Who are you, and what were you doing in that shrine?
I'm kind of curious what he'll say when I tell him, I guess, the truth. Like, I'm from the future. Like,
no idea what you're talking about. Oh, wait. Are you a bit, you know, not right in the head? That's all right, friend. Everyone's welcome here. We sort of lose track of the date down here, but it feels like the beginning of spring to me, so I'd say early March? It's 817 AUC. Sorry, you look confused. 817 years since the founding of Rome. Which part of the Empire are you from, exactly?
So because I'm guessing this is one of the two things that I picked in the very, very beginning when it had me flip that coin. So I get Archaeologist Insight. So I'm going to convert that. So that means it's 65 CE. That, I'm actually kind of curious. I want to see what it says when I say this.
Hey, not so loud. Just saying that name could land you in trouble here. If you haven't heard, his cultists burned down half of Rome last year. Horrible business. I heard Nero executed some of them, but a lot of people are still angry with them, even down here. So, if you're one of them, keep it to yourself. But listen, most folks seem a bit confused when they get here, but you seem very lost, and in more ways than one. So, let me make this nice and simple for you. Live by our law here, and we'll all get along just fine. Not laws, law. There's just one, the golden rule, and the punishment for breaking it's kind of horrific. But our magistrate insists we take all newcomers to see him, so I guess I'll let him fill you in. So then, you coming?
Yeah, so I'm going to let him lead the way. So that's kind of interesting. There was kind of a couple of things. One, Nero was an actual emperor of Rome, so that's kind of interesting that he mentioned that. Two, he said, the golden rule. I kind of thought that was kind of funny because all the statues were, of course, golden statues.
Follow me. When I first arrived, I couldn't believe there were people living down here. But, as you can see, we've got a nice little community now. Only 23 of us at the moment, if you count the 3 who are missing. No idea how, since nobody knows a way out. But it's just big and dark enough to get lost in, if you're not careful.
So he mentioned something.
Going to introduce me to your handsome new friend, Galerius.
Keep it in your loincloth, Aurelia. I'm taking him to see the magistrate.
That pompous old bore won't be magistrate for much longer. Anyone who helps vote him out today drinks at my bar for free tonight.
So that was interesting. When I very first hovered over her name, it said Stranger, and then when he said Aurelio, or however you say her name, it actually then changed her name to that. So I thought that was kind of cool. The other thing is he mentioned there's a lot of people that come here and they all seem confused. So I'm guessing we're not the first two, including the owl person. And of course, here's a
politics.
statue.
It's not my place to say.
I'm going to talk to her really, really quick. I just want to see. I don't know if there's like side quests that we can do. Obviously, she is not a big fan of the magistrate that we're about to see. Oh, she's actually busy, so I can't. Like I said, decent graphics for kind of a low-budget game. This game is not really that expensive.
Down on your right is our farm.
I'm pretty
where I
impressed.
grow all the food you'll ever want. As long as all you want is leek, cabbage, and wheat. That one usually gets.
So again, stranger, unless I talk to her. I'm curious if I can talk to her. Nope.
The bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone.
Don't mind Livia. She means well. She's just been in a bad place since... Well, I don't know what happened to her. Up here on your right is the chasm. If you've got a weapon, it belongs way down at the bottom. Up on your left is the Forum, where you can visit the market or get yourself patched up in Lucretia's clinic in the Shrine of Apollo. Most of us have almost nothing, just what we had on us when we arrived, and what we've been able to make and scrounge up since. And this central plateau is where the magistrate and the other patricians live, so don't expect a warm welcome.
Galerius, you're meant to be working the farm, not trudging dirt into the villas.
Take it easy, Horatius. I was just taking our new friend here to see the magistrate.
Well, he's asked me to escort the newcomer personally. The farm. Go. Now.
You'd better go with him. But just remember, they're not like you and me. Don't let them use you.
What was that? What did you just say?
I said it'll take some getting used to.
Yeah, I'm watching you, farm boy. Greetings, citizen. My name's Horatius. Magistrate Sentius asked me to escort you to him personally. Follow me, please. I expect the magistrate wants to brief you about the Golden Rule. It shouldn't take too long. He's busy preparing for the election later today. Follow me.
So I guess there's two different options. So if I were to play this game multiple times, I could tell him I'm not going to go. And I'm kind of curious to see what happens.
The Legion, if there was a mutiny brewing in one cohort, the legate in charge wouldn't waste time finding the bad apples among hundreds. They just divided us into groups of 10, made us draw straws, and whoever drew the short straw had to be executed by the other 9. Didn't matter whether he'd done anything wrong. One of us in 10 would die for the crimes of the collective.
Oh, don't mind me.
Call it
I just
decimation.
live here.
If that seems like rough justice to you, you're in for a rude shock. Because the Golden Rule is exactly 10 times worse. The magistrate can explain the rest. He's up these stairs.
Oh, I wish Horatius would stop letting barbarians in here. What do you want? I'm Sentia, eldest daughter of the magistrate. But you'd know that if you'd been invited in here and introduced properly. What are you doing in here? And why are you dressed like that? Really? I'd never have noticed, what with your flawless accent, appropriate attire, and impressive mastery of our customs. Now, remind me, why are we having this conversation? You know, some people say it's the creation of an all-seeing God who's watching everything we do. But what kind of an awful, incompetent God would let my sister go missing on his or her watch?
So a lot of different ways you can go. I mean, I'm curious to see how many different paths you can take and the different, I guess, storylines that open up based on how you answer these questions.
Did you hear that? Curse you, you coward! Where is my sister? What do you have to say for yourself? No response. Nothing. That's what I thought. I'm telling you, this mysterious god of ours has to be asleep on the job. Either that, or, like people are saying, it really is just a children's fable my father is exploiting to frighten us into behaving. I suppose we will.
I'm curious. I'm just going to ask her if there's a way out of here, because the guy earlier, the very first guy that we talked to, seemed like there was no way out of here, and he kind of knew it, and he was okay with that. So.
Ugh, what is it with you people? You heard the rumor that my little sister escaped, and figure I must know a way out too. Is that it? Well, that's just a stupid rumor. We have no idea what happened to Scintilla. I wish you mouth breathers would just leave me alone. I don't know. Can you? Can you tell me how a person could have disappeared from a city with no exits and no crime? Was she snatched away by the harpies?
I guess I didn't even pick up on that. Yeah, but all these names are very close.
You really aren't from here, are you? All Roman women are named after their fathers. I think it's their way of branding us, like cattle to be sold at market. His family name is Sentius, so I'm Sentia because I'm the eldest. And my little sister is formerly Sentia Minor, but she is affectionately known as Scintilla. It was 3 weeks ago. We ate our evening meal together, and I remember she seemed happy. In love. We went into our rooms, I went to sleep, and when I woke up, she was gone. That's it. I think so, yes. But she was very careful about keeping his identity a secret, even from me. Because our father had plans to marry her off, eventually, and even a rumor about her attachment to some mystery man might have ruined those plans. I don't know, but it's been 3 weeks since she disappeared, and he hasn't come forward. That might speak to a guilty conscience. All I know is, whoever he is, he's still here in the city. Why? Because I'm on this couch and not pacing about the villa, wasting energy? I hope you're not insinuating I'm somehow pleased with her disappearance.
You know what? Let's try this bluff option. I'm kind of curious to see. I always like to try these different options.
Ugh, you're awful. Get out of my villa and never speak to me again.
Oh, so I just made her mad. So, so upstairs it looks like is where the magistrate is. I'm going to kind of just see what else is out here. There's a lot of really cool architecture here, and I went into some of the rooms when I was following that guy in, just kind of show
this
around.
This place has become a thoroughfare.
I don't exactly know. He might be up the stairs. I just wanted to... I always like to kind of explore a little bit, you know? Let's see. So this must be the Magistrate Cynthius.
We're finally alone. I assume you already know who I am. May I know your name?
Yes, I'm Pimperville 2.
A curious name to match a curious accent. But I digress. I see you have the piercing and astute eyes of a man of great learning. We're always happy to welcome another scholar to our little community. Equitia will be delighted to meet you, I'm sure. Now, you're probably wondering why I summoned you, and I'll get to that. But first, take a look at this wondrous place, would you? A secret city built deep in the mountains, many hundreds of years ago. Indeed. More importantly, consider the miraculous community we've built here over the last 7 months. 22 complete strangers brought together by the fates, living and working together in our own little paradise. And in all that time, not a single sin has been committed. No fights, no theft, nothing. Have you ever witnessed something so extraordinary as a city without sin?
You know, I have to laugh at that, though, because why would they need a magistrate if there was no sins and crimes and things like that? I just kind of have to laugh at that.
Nor could I, until I came here. But the reason for this miracle is as simple as it is terrifying. If even one person commits a sin here, every last one of us will die. You see, the builders of this place, whoever they were, left inscriptions warning, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." From what we can gather, breaking the law here will anger the gods and provoke a terrible punishment. Like the curses of Medusa and Midas combined, turning us all to gold. We've come to call it the Golden Rule. It's extraordinary that we've survived as long as we have, and each day I grow more and more afraid that our time in the sun is almost up. And now it seems that day is finally here. All that matters is that somebody in this city is about to break the Golden Rule. Why else would Proserpina send you now? Unless you and I can stop them, our doom is assured. I know that's a lot to take in, and you look like you have questions. Please, ask away.
So basically, we can already tell somebody broke the Golden Rule, and you know, I don't know if it was Al. I mean, he was also a statue. It just kind of is interesting. So we kind of had a little bit of foreshadowing. We know what's going to happen. I'm going to kind of go a little bit more into this. So let's see, what counts as a sin?
An intelligent question. There was a good deal of debate about that in our first weeks here. Does it refer to crimes or to some other ill-defined wrong? Of course, everyone agrees on the basics. No theft, no assault, and certainly no murder. But beyond that, it was more difficult to reach a consensus. What about lying, insulting someone, blasphemy, trespass, trying to escape, bribery, infidelity, suicide? As magistrate, I had to exercise leadership, and so I made a decision. We must uphold the laws of the Empire to a standard never before seen. And we must honor the peace of the gods, the sacred accord between the gods and the people of Rome. It is only by offering the gods the proper respect that we may prosper, as Rome has for centuries.
It's kind of interesting because it would be kind of interesting to see why is everybody, I guess you wouldn't really have a need for a guard, in my opinion, because I could have everybody eating out of the palm of my hand, so to speak, because if I decide to do something wrong, they're all dead. And it's like nobody really, I would think, has power over anyone else. I don't know. I'm just going to agree with them for now and see. Oh,
barbaric? Barbaric? What are you talking about? The Empire is the most civilizing force in the known world.
I didn't mean to pick that one.
Rome is a beacon of light in the darkness. For 800 years she has borne great statesmen, philosophers, poets, artists, and engineers. We have comprehensive laws protecting the rights of our citizens, which have unified countless warring tribes all across the Mediterranean and beyond, from Gallia to Judea. All our citizens are treated the same, regardless of the color of their skin or their sexual preference. Can you say the same? When our people are starving, they are given food rations, and when they are wronged, they have the right to bring the guilty party before the magistrate. Our laws forbid treason, murder, assault, and rape, as well as theft and arson, and so on. No other civilization in the world is so advanced, and you have the hubris to call us barbaric?
So I could call him out, it looks like, on a lot of different things. I'm just going to say my mistake, though.
I have made my pronouncement on the subject. Unfortunately, there are still those here who resist, whispering blasphemous and treasonous lies in the shadows. I would be keeping a close eye on them if I were you. Do you ever stare at a problem for so long that you can't see it for what it is anymore? What's needed here is a fresh pair of eyes. The less I prejudice the independence of your investigation, the better. Ah, so you know about that already. It's a devastating loss, of course, but that was over 3 weeks ago, and whatever happened to her, it didn't break the golden rule, so I don't think it's connected with our imminent demise. Still, if you happen to find her and return her to me, I would be eternally grateful.
I'm going to see if he will tell me what I really think. And that might actually be a side quest. See if we can find his daughter and what happened there.
Well, all right. There are those who wish to vote me out of office so that they can pursue their own misguided political agenda. Frankly, their selfishness and recklessness risk destabilizing the entire city. I would be looking very carefully at them if I were you.
I'm going to see what he says, because it seems like everybody just thinks I am just crazy when I say, can I go back to my own time, right? So I'm just going to see what he says.
If I understand Prosperna's ritual correctly, that problem should take care of itself. Let me see if I can explain. If you manage to prevent the sin that breaks the golden rule, I won't need to bring you here. I won't create the portal, and you will never have been able to come here. Thus, you'll have created a paradox. If this occurs, you should be flung back to your own time, having changed the past for all of us. Make sense?
So this is kind of like a time travel. So basically, if I create or solve their murder, I will never have needed to have come here, and I can go back to my own time. So it's kind of like this whole paradox like you just said. So I'm going to say sure.
Ah, good. So, are you with me? Can I count on you to figure out who's about to break the golden rule? Wonderful. Now, I need you to investigate the city, talk to everyone, help them if it'll win their trust. I authorize you to enter private homes and inspect possessions and documents, unless, of course, you're asked to leave. Figure out who the culprit is, and as soon as you have a name, come back and tell me immediately. Oh, and one last thing. If I were you, I'd start my investigation by visiting Lucretia at the Shrine of Apollo in the Forum. I heard wailing from there not long ago. Seems like something's not right.
So this is a little bit of an open world type of game from what I've seen. So at this point, we have certain objectives, but I think we can go down side paths. Kind of like talking to his daughter downstairs, the one obviously that was sitting on the couch. That kind of opened up a little bit of dialogue, which actually changed one of the options because I already knew about that. He may have told me if I asked, I don't know, but since I already knew that, it kind of opened up that dialogue. So there's a lot of different things in here. So it seems like a very intriguing game. Like I said, not super exciting as far as like combat and things like that, but definitely a neat story aspect. Very intriguing story, kind of seeing if we can prevent this golden rule. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and cut this part short, but I'm going to be making a couple of different videos and a couple different parts to this series because it seems like it's pretty interesting. So appreciate you for watching, and thanks.